Hi guys, this is Dr. B here with a lecture for balancing reactions/equations. So when we're looking at balancing equations, we got to think about the law of conservation of mass. The general idea with this is that your chemical equations, your reactions must be equal on both sides because matter cannot be created or destroyed, it just changes shape or form. Therefore, the atoms that are present on one side of the equation must be present on the other side as well, and we're going to be counting with this. And I will say that this part is not difficult, but if you are struggling with this, you need to make sure you get it quickly, because if not, then this will build into concepts in our next unit and from there on. So if you don't know how to do this, that's fine, but you need to learn how to do this. So here's our example, H2 plus O2 produces H2O. So this equation is unbalanced. You need to count your atoms on both sides. And remember that anything to the left of the arrow is a reactant. So anything to the right of the arrow is considered products. So make sure you guys are aware of what is what. So you have H2 plus O2 produces H2, and they end up balance. So when you're balancing an equation, you're only going to change the coefficient. The coefficient is the number in the front. You cannot change any of the numbers like this or this or this. You can't change those. The only ones that you can change are the ones in the front. So I'm saying it like that because I just want to make sure that we're clear on that. So we look at our reactant side. We have two hydrogens here. We have two hydrogens here for now, so we're good with that. Let's look at our O's. We have two O's here. We have only one O on this side. So don't just add a 2 at the end of the O, because that would just change the compound. You have to put a number in the front. And what you do with your coefficient, the number in the front, you're going to distribute through. So if you put a 2 up here, that means I have 2 times 2 H's, so I have 4 H's now, and I have 2 times 1 O, so I have 2 O's. I have 2 O's here, so I'm going to put a 1 in there, because 1 times 2 is 2. I need to put a 2 in front of the H2 to make it now 4 H's on the left side. I just double check my work, and I am balanced. So here are some other examples. Look at your reactant side, then your product side. So we see that our lithium is the same on both sides. Then we see now that our aluminum is the same on both sides. But now we see that our chlorine, there's 3 chlorines here, and there's only 1. So I'm going to put a 3 in front of the LiCl. So when I distribute the 3, I have 3 times Li and then 3 times Cl, 1 of each. So now I have 3 Cl's and 3 Li's. So I got to look on the other side, and I can see that now I have 3 Li's on my right. So on my left side I only have 1, so I'm going to put a 3 here, and that distributes. And I got to double check my other stuff. I didn't change my aluminum, so it's still the same. And then now I see that I have 3 Li's on both sides and 3 Cl's on both sides and 1 aluminum each. That's how you balance. So I have C3H8 plus O2 produces CO2H2O. You're going to see this type of reaction frequently, so just so you're aware of that. The only thing that will change probably is the hydrocarbon, meaning the compound in the front that contains carbon and hydrogen, maybe sometimes oxygen. So let's look. Notice how we have 2 O's. When I say 2, we have 2 O's here. We also have O twice in 2 different products on my right side. So let's leave that alone for now. So the thing that stand out to me is the carbons and the hydrogens. So I have 3 carbons on my left. So I'm going to put a 3 in the front of the CO2, because then I'll distribute to the CO2. So it's 3 C's on my right side now. Remember I said I have 2 O's, the O's in the 2 products, so I'll leave that alone. I have 8 H's on my reactant side. On my product side I have 2, so I'm going to put a 4 here, because 4 times 2 is 8. So now I got a C. So I have 3 times 2 O's, and I have 4 times 1 O's. So 6 plus 4, that's 10. So how do I make this 10 over here? I'm going to put a 5 in the front, because 5 times 2 is 10. So put a 1 here, and then we're good to go. Sometimes you can leave if it's like if it's a compound with a coefficient, a molecule with a coefficient of 1, meaning there's only one of the specific thing, you can do one of two things. You can put a 1, or you can leave it blank, because it's implied there's 1 there. However, you need to be consistent throughout every time you balance. So, for example, in your homework, when you get your homework, let's say you have 10, you have ones you're going to put and you leave one blank. I'm going to assume you leave it blank. You have to be consistent, either 1 or blank, if your coefficient will look like something like that. Okay. Here I have ammonium hydroxide plus hydrogen phosphate or phosphoric acid producing ammonium phosphate and water. So notice I have a lot of kind of have this grouping here: NH4, NH4, PO4, PO4. So I'm going to put, notice I have 3 NH4s, so I can put a 3 here. I have 1 PO4 on both sides, so that's okay for now. Now I got to see what I can work with my H's and my O's. So I prefer working with H's first and then O's, but just be careful with that. So I have 3 times 5, with a total of 15, because 4 times plus 1 is 5. Then I have 3 here, so I have a total of 18 H's. On this side, I have 3 times 4, so it's 12, plus 2 from here. So I got to see what I can do to this number in the front to make it equal to each other. If I put a 3 in the front, this becomes 6, and now this is 18. So now let's look at our PO4s. Let me just double check the O's, how about that? So I have 3 O's here. Let me do it from color. 3 O's. I have 4 O's here. That's a total of 7. Here on my product side, I have 4 O's. I have 3 O's here from this 3 times O. It goes like this. A total of 7. So I'm balanced now. So 3, 1, 1, 3 for my coefficients. Rubidium plus phosphorus makes rubidium phosphide. So let's see. I have 1 RB and 1 P on my reactant side. On my product side, I have 3 RBs and 1 P. So I'm going to put a 3 up here for now. And it's still 1, so 3 RBs on the right side, the product side. My P's don't change, so it's 3, 1, 1. All right, gentlemen, if you have any questions, please let me know. Hit that like and subscribe. Thanks, bye.